Kawaii Critic here. We're here once again to share my thoughts on another show. So, I came across this show earlier called Stranger Things, a show that is, as far as I know, exclusively on Netflix. And after watching all 8 episodes in this one season, all I have to say is, it's a show I highly recommend watching if you do happen to have Netflix. So, without trying to spoil much of anything, I'll try my best here. So we follow these 4 kids who are playing this Dungeons and Dragons board game. And after they're done, one of them returns home and is captured by this mysterious creature of sorts and is placed somewhere unknown. And it is up to a cop, his mother, 3 friends, the main character's older sister, and this other character you see on the very top there, to figure out where exactly he is, and so on and so forth. And after watching all 8 episodes, I have to say, this is probably one of the most well-written shows I've seen that's really, really short as well. The way they handle the characters, and to say that they're characters is a heavy relief, to say the least. And the reason I'm saying this is because, at least from my experience, most horror movies, this is a horror series, I suppose, but most horror movies, most of them, as I say, the characters usually come off as very cardboard, very one-dimensional, just not very interesting characters, and for me, I often find myself rooting for the villain to just kill these non-important characters, and so on and so forth. But that is not the case here. I found myself actually enjoying the characters, as they actually were characters. They developed, they got better, they sometimes got worse depending on who you're talking about. So yes, even though some of the characters do follow some cliches, which actually they point out in the show itself, so I think they're aware that they're pointing out the cliches and that it's that. But the point is that the characters actually grow and change, and you actually start to feel somewhat of a bond toward these characters, which again, at least in the horror genre, is something I just haven't seen a lot of, and it makes it a lot easier to throw myself into the scenario. I want to see these characters survive, so I kind of become terrified for their sake instead of saying, oh, just let the killer kill them. I find this strategy so much more effective, and I wish more horror movies would actually pay attention to something like this, because this is how I think horror should be done, with actual characters and actual character development. So yes, the characters are amazing, and I felt like they were really well written and really well acted through. Even the kids, and I say even the kids because, like, the horror trope that I just mentioned, a lot of kid actors usually aren't that great. Mostly. But these kids do a pretty good job here, and again, they follow a bit of a cliche, mixing it up between these sort of nerdy type characters that just happen to know a little bit more than the average kid, but they still tease each other, and they still lie about stuff to their parents, which is something that I think I'm pretty sure kids would do that, especially in that day and age when the movie is that the era of that movie is taking place. So yes, I found myself thoroughly enjoying this show, and the ending has some implications that there's some stuff that may be coming down the line, and I really hope to see a season 2 to Stranger Things come up hopefully relatively soon. And since they did only 8 episodes, I could very well see them doing a season 2 that's just as long. I mean, if they want to expand it, I'd be perfectly fine with that, but I'd also like to see if they could pull this off again, where they just kept everything so compact and didn't really feel like there were too many moments where there's just nothing going on. And even if it's a case of drama or anything of that nature, it still feels like it's building up to something, and that's at least the only issue I could find with this show, especially with one of the characters. I'll say as much as this is that one of the characters comes off just not as a cliche, but of a character that I just found a little bit more annoying through the type of cliche that it was. However, like I said, the character development happens to this character as well, and in fact, this character I feel like almost changed the most out of all the characters in the show, making that character really likable and made me want to follow that character through all the adventures. So, I highly recommend this show if you have Netflix. It's a very easy watch, only 8 episodes, and this will be a really short video since I'm not going to be spoiling anything here. I will probably have a separate video on my other channel with a spoiler review, but I'm not even gonna leave a link in the description just in case anyone accidentally clicks on it for whatever reason and then they get spoiled. I really want, if you haven't seen the show, for you to experience it for yourself and come to your own conclusion whether you like it or not. So, with that being said, this has been Kawaii Critic, and if you like what you've seen, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as far as comments go, tell me what you think of Stranger Things, and please try to keep it spoiler free. That being said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!